Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We're here on a Sunday, and we're gonna get Claire in here. Let's see. There she is. There's
Hey,
Claire.
hey. Hello,
Say
hello.
hi to Claire. I am in a. This is a weird kind of thing because I am in a remote location, and Claire's in my studio doing the live from there. So
We
we'll
just
try
like to
this.
mix it up a little.
Yeah, something new. And yeah, let's see where everybody's from. We haven't done we didn't do any videos this week. I jumped on a live with Mike Rinder and Aaron Smith-Levin over at Growing Up in Scientology, and but we haven't done the Blown for Good channel hasn't put out a lot of content on SPTV this week, but we're looking to make up for that today. We've got a lot of crazy stuff to talk about today. For all those wondering about the case coming up, we can't say anything about that. So if you want to comment about it in the chats, that's up to you guys. You can do whatever, but we can't really talk about that until it's I want to say until it's over. We're not really going to be able to talk about it from our end because we don't want to jeopardize anything with that. We don't want to mess anything up for anybody. So we'll just wait until that's over. And I know that Aaron Smith-Levin over at the Growing Up in Scientology channel is going to be there at the trial. So any information that happens, you'll find out right from him. And then and if you do want to, if there's anything that I can share on the channel while Claire's there doing that, I will do so. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. So whatever we do talk about, and certainly once everything's done and we talk about it, then definitely you're going to want to be over here because obviously we'll go into all the details of all the whatever's happened, whatever we can talk about.
I heard Aaron talking last night about his press badge. It was pretty funny. He was like, "Yeah, just." When she's like, "What do you want it to say?" He's like, "Aaron Smith-Levin,
Yes.
SPTV." Yeah, no. Let's do the other one. Growing up in
Yeah.
Scientology.
Exactly. That was so funny. I couldn't believe that. He should have
Could have
I
been
think he
Special People TV.
yeah, he should have just said something silly, but it doesn't really matter. SPTV can mean whatever you want it to mean. We don't, it's not
Exactly.
like, it's just like the Sea Org. It doesn't really exist. It's not a company somewhere. It's just an idea. It's a concept that's not legally liable for anything.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
anyway, but I wanted, um, I wanted to talk about, hold on a second, I wanted to talk about this other thing. I've seen a lot of people in the comments sort of like, you guys left so long ago. Why are they still messing with you? Like, this is a true fact. We left in January of 2005, and they are spending, they've spent millions and millions of dollars on websites, on private investigators, on lawyers, on all this stuff to try to keep us quiet and not tell these stories and not expose what happened there at the Imp base. And I've seen a lot of people saying like, you got away, just live your life, do your thing. And we are doing that for the most part. That is what we're doing. We're not on here 24/7. We do other things. But the thing I wanted to make, and I've said this before, and Claire, I know Claire shares this idea with me, but if you were in a place where you were being abused and you didn't think you could escape from, and you were there for, some of these people have been there. We were there for about, between Claire and I, 13 to 15 years. We were at this one international headquarters of Scientology location, the Int base. But if you were there and you got abused and somehow you found a way out and escaped, would you just go on with your life and just all the friends that you made over the decade you were there, just leave them there knowing that, they're likely there's still some sort of abuse happening there. I know some people say David Miscavige doesn't work there anymore, so he's not beating people up. But the standard Sea Org schedule is 100 hours a week. That's just no all-nighters, no extra time. Just the regular work week is 100 hours a week for about $50. And just that alone, your body doesn't even have enough time to recover each night from the day before's activities. Getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep every single night and working your body hard all day is not a good idea. And there's definitely people like me who, my body is pretty trashed for the age that I am. Just from all the abuse that for years and years and years. So regardless of if people are getting beat up there still are people there that would like to leave and that don't know they can leave and don't know that's somewhere they could go. And we're trying to get the word out. And also people have relatives. Some of the people that are there at the base, they have loved ones that aren't in Scientology that may be worrying about them and want to know what's happening with them. And if we can help them in some way, make it so they tell their loved ones, hey, if you ever go on vacation or if you ever leave, you can stay with us. Any of these things could help those people have a softer landing if they do indeed get out of Scientology. So that's why we do this. We're trying to...
and the fact of the matter is we did try to just move on and live our lives, and they would not leave us alone. And really, all we were trying to do is help other people that had gotten out. But a skilled artist had been sent down to Louisiana and was doing construction, and you helped her get a job that utilized her skills and made her tons more money. Like, we were just trying to help people.
Yeah.
Live our lives and help people. And it was,
and the craziest
outrageous.
thing is,
They
the craziest
would not
thing
leave
is,
us alone.
yeah, we got that girl a job. We got her, she was making, let's say she was making $10 an hour doing rough construction, like fixing homes in Louisiana that had been flooded out after, I think it was Hurricane Katrina.
Yes.
And then I got her a job at a place as a digital artist where she was making $45 an hour. That girl went back to Scientology. Like, she did all her steps and got in good standing with them after I helped her and paid off her freeloader debt. I helped her make the money so she could pay them back and so she could talk to her Scientology family again. So
not that we advised her to give them
no,
money,
we didn't
but,
tell her to
each
do that.
their own. If she really wanted to talk to her mom, and there's nothing wrong with that. She's
Yeah,
her mom, for crying out loud.
We're equal opportunity helpers here. We're just helping people get their lives started. If they decide that they want to go back and they just to be able to speak with their Scientology families again, fine, great. That's the whole purpose of this. When you're in the Sea Org, you never see or talk to your family. So even if you leave the Sea Org and you still believe in L. Ron Hubbard or his nonsense or whatever, okay, I don't care. But so to me, it's like, it's kind of weird. Like, we're still trying to help the people that we worked with. And also we're trying to bring justice to the abuses and the bad things that are happening at the same time. So that's why we do this. If people are still wondering, like, yeah, what, 17 years? Yeah. Hey, this is my hobby. This is one of my side hobbies. I help people that need help. I try to do whatever I can.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is it can be difficult for people outside Scientology who never knew anything about it to understand the inner workings, the terminology, and all that. We have a wealth of information about that, so why not share that with the world and expose what's going on? And when the abuses are not going on anymore, we'll retire.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that also brings it to another point that I was going to bring up, is that there have been people that are like, oh, we want the TV show. When's the TV show coming back? Or when's this podcast coming back? Or, the complication of this, what we're doing, it gets simpler the less people that are involved. Let's just say it that way. So when you're doing a TV show, There could be 50 people that are now going to be involved in doing the video that we're doing today. If we had to do this as a TV show, there'd be an additional 50 people that we have to talk to, that have to shoot it, that have to prove it, that have to do the sets, the locations, the finances. There's so many people that have to get involved. And instead of getting the message out, we have to educate all these 50 people on how all this works. And that could take weeks or months to be able to understand what happened and then to tell it in a way that they think they can edit that and it can get through the lawyers and it can get through the advertisers and it can get through all those people to make it out to you guys watching right now. So we're trying to slim this process down so that we can get as many people informed without having to spend our time and effort on educating the people that are producing the show that are gonna try to get this thing on TV. And Claire can attest to this too. We've done so many interviews and we've done so many TV shows that they never see the light of day, because the way it's set up is it only takes one person to be compromised in that whole chain of 50 people for that show to not exist or never see the light of day. It just takes one person that's compromised and the whole thing's done. And that could be because they got to an advertiser or they got to an executive or they got to one of the lawyers. It doesn't matter who, but any one of those 50 people could blow the whole thing. The way we've set up this SPTV thing, there's 5 or 6 different people, and it doesn't matter if they take one of us out, there's still the other people. So they'd have to take all of us out, and that's where we have a better system. And then also you're getting different points of views, and you're getting different stories from different people that worked at different places during different times.
And so, there's more people joining SPTV every day as contributors, you know.
Yeah, we're trying to make this. So Amy Scobie, that's a good point. Amy Scobie just started her channel. We'll put a link in the description to her channel, but I think it's Who is Amy Scobie on YouTube. But we need to get her up to like 10,000 subscribers before the end of April so that she can start rolling on her videos. And she's already got a ton of videos up there right now that she's already produced and she's already got. So,
and Mark Fisher and Janice Grady are about to launch their channel too.
Exactly. So we're not unlike Scientology. We actually are trying to get multiple points of this sort of information stream, that if you don't like me and Claire and our videos, then you can try Amy, or you can try Mike, or you can try Aaron.
We won't be offended.
Yeah, it doesn't really much matter to us how you get the information, just as long as we keep the information getting out there. And you guys gotta dig, the Scientologists are the real ones that we're trying to reach, either through their family members or the ones that are under the radar, or the ones that are secretly watching, the Sea Org members that are secretly watching on a device that they're not supposed to have through a filter that they've somehow gotten around, or they're at a Starbucks somewhere, or however it works. We are trying to get those people this information any which way we can. And the more real we are and the more honest we are, the better chance we have of reaching those people, because they know, the people that are in the Sea Org or that have worked at the places that we worked at, they know we're not blowing this up. They know we're not sugarcoating it. If anything, even to this day, we are telling you the light stuff that you will believe. We have not gone into some of the insane things that have happened there that are just not even safe for YouTube. We're telling you the stuff we can tell you on YouTube that won't get heavily, I don't know what you call dinged or demonetized or just not even just taken censored off.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, that's that. I'm trying to think. I made a few little notes here.
We got people from all over the place here. I asked where people were joining us from, and I marked some comments to share that whenever you're ready.
Nice. Yeah, so I think what we'll do is we'll talk about this money thing. It's just a few things that I made a list of. And Claire knows a lot of these things too, because she worked in Religious Technology Center, which was the same organization that David Miscavige was the head of. And what was your post there, Claire? You want to tell everybody?
Sure. Yeah. In Religious Technology Center. So it was a few different posts, but 4 years I was what was called internal executive, which was essentially, that's when I was, according to Scientology lawyers, number 3 in command, quote unquote, because I reported directly to Marty Rathbun, who reported directly to David Miscavige. And so, as internal executive, I was over essentially HR, staff training, counseling, and the finances. So I had to sign all the checks for Religious Technology Center and approve the funds every week and so forth. And yeah, that was my position.
So Claire does have some knowledge of that as well. In addition, most of the stuff that we were going to talk about today was the things that David Miscavige specifically kind of directed and was responsible for spending money on. Just because I guess if you're Scientology and you're David Miscavige, you can just spend whatever you want on whatever you want, and there's no repercussions. At the end of the day, and this is the craziest thing, David Miscavige is spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on stuff, and he's getting that money from Scientologists. That money is not coming from some nebulous place. Scientologists are making the money and then giving it to him, and then he's spending it on whatever he wants. And I think it might even be a service to those people. This is how your money's being spent. This is when David Miscavige is telling you they're clearing the planet and they're turning everyone into Scientologists. This is what he's doing with that money that you're donating. Excuse me. Anyway, so the first of the things that I wanted to talk about was we had a lot of audio-visual products that we would produce at the international headquarters. We would produce, from the 15 years that I worked there, from 1990 to 2005, we produced cassette tapes. We produced that were lectures from L. Ron Hubbard, mastered and then copied onto cassettes. We produced VHS videos of L. Ron Hubbard and other things. We produced 16 millimeter films. We produced DVDs. We produced laser discs for a while. We produced CDs, and then we produced videos. So we produced promotional videos, promotional films, and then educational films for Scientology organizations. Well, David Miscavige would travel all over the world, and in order for him to properly check, he had to check every single one of the products that I just listed. He would have to approve them before they went to major manufacturing, the final mix down or the final masters or the final print or the final edit, any steps of any of those products, he would be the final approval. And in order for him to approve those products, he had to have a very high-end listening room, or like audio-visual, like just imagine the most opulent man cave you can think of with the most expensive audio gear. And he had one of those at the Imp Base. And this room, I think the one at the Imp Base, I want to say it was about $500,000 or more, just the equipment in the room, not to mention building it and acoustically designing it and all that. I don't even know how much that cost. But just the equipment in the room, I would say it's about $500,000 worth of stuff. You're talking about, $75,000 speakers, $15,000 turntable, $10,000 CD player, digital to analog converters, analog to digital converters. They had this guy, very well-known guy in the audiophile industry named David Manley. And David Manley had a company called, I think it's called Manley Labs, and they had every single possible piece of equipment this David Manley guy ever made, and even some of the Golden Era guys would modify this guy's stuff or copy it and make their own versions of it at the base. But these things could run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. These really super, like 1 out of 10 devices. Like there'd be 10 in the world, and David Miscavige he might have 2 or 3 of them, depending on what it was and where it was. But so let's just say one of those rooms could cost anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000. Well, remember when I say he traveled? So he had these rooms all over the place. He didn't just have one at the base. He had one of these rooms in, I made a list here actually. Let me see where it was. So we had the one in Gilman Hot Springs, California. That's the one at the base. So at that place, David Miscavige actually had a few there as well. So he had one in his office in RTC. He had a very nice system there. He also had another office called what was that place where he'd go play cards and chess with people?
Oh, the officer's lounge.
He had one in the officer's lounge.
Yep.
He had one down in the dining hall. He had a little room. That one was probably like only $100K for just a little bit of stuff there. And then, and that's in addition to all the millions of dollars of studios at the base where he could go and listen to the thing in the actual studio or watch the film in the theater. But then also at L. Ron Hubbard's house at the base, there was a whole nother setup that you could do that there as well. So there was a theater at the L. Ron Hubbard house that David Miscavige is the only one using L. Ron Hubbard stuff. So all these places are built for L. Ron Hubbard and they're sacred and no one can touch them. And well, David Miscavige uses all that stuff like it's his own. Like he doesn't care. Who's he gonna get in trouble with? So there's another one of those really, really nice theaters at the L. Ron Hubbard house, and there's many really, really high-end audio setups in the L. Ron Hubbard house as well. It's called Bonnie View is the name of the house. Anyway, then he also has a very, very modern high-end system at the Superpower building, or what they call the Flag building down in Clearwater. That's that brand new big building that's in Clearwater across from the Fort Harrison Hotel. He has a whole wing of that building, like one of those turrets on one of the 4 corners of that building. He has that whole wing, and he has a very high-end office that was designed for that wing. Even when I was still there, we were planning that. And that, I would say that would be $1 million room, that one there, with all the stuff that's in it. And then he also had another system at what's called the WB. What do they call that? The West Coast building? Is that the WB? Right.
Yep.
And that's where the RTC offices used to be there. He had a very high-end office system there, listening system there. I know because I worked on that myself. And I've interacted with that equipment personally with my own 2 hands. He also, another system that I worked on, he had at the Hacienda at the birthing building, and that's in Clearwater as well off, is it Saturn? What's that street?
Oh, gosh.
Cleveland, Saturn, something. Whatever the Hacienda.
When you're in this organization, the least of your worries is what street you're on.
Yeah. We weren't big on addresses. I know the base address, and I know the Hollywood Guarantee building address, but those are the only 2 addresses that I actually know. I don't even know the apartment. I don't even know the address of the apartments that we lived at. I know what street they were on, but I don't know the address.
Yeah, no, we knew what they were called.
We lived there for only 10 years, so how would I know the address?
Yeah, by the way, am I quiet? Some people are saying I'm quiet.
No, you're fine. Maybe move the mic closer to your mouth.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, we're only halfway through these offices. Remember, these offices could be anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 each. And we're halfway through the list. He also had an RTC office at the Hollywood Guarantee building at 6331 Hollywood Boulevard. There's an RTC. He has his own floor there where he has offices. And I think there's I want to say there's also kind of like a swanky L. Ron Hubbard residence there in that floor as well.
Yeah.
And office.
And to answer and provide context, birthing is just the Sea Organization term for your lodging and where you live.
Oh, yeah. I did say birthing.
From the days in the Sea Org. I know people are like, what, child birthing place? I'm like, no. Berthing,
Yeah.
Berth.
Yeah, it's a naval term. That
Yeah.
I think it's used in the military, and Hubbard just stole
Naval.
it for the
Yep.
Sea Org.
Yep.
Okay, then he had so there's an RTC office, and there's sort of like an LRH office or suite in the Hollywood Guarantee building. But RTC has offices there, and those offices are very, very swanky, and there's a system there. He has another system at the house that's by the also further down Hollywood Boulevard, where Authors Services is, which is L. Ron Hubbard's literary agency. That Dave Miscavige
what was that
used
called
to be.
again? Wasn't it El Cadiz?
Yeah, El Cadiz. It's the place where they shot the TV show Alias with Jennifer Garner. It's where she lived in the show. David Miscavige bought that whole complex. And they have a secret tunnel that goes from those apartments all the way in through the building into Author Services, where they own the building that's right next to the apartments. And then he also he has systems as well in UK, and I've heard that there's some sort of setup in Africa at this new place they have. They have some kind of castle or something, or there's some kind of place there that he has access to, or there's something there. And then there's also RTC offices. Wherever there's an RTC office, if David Miscavige comes there, he usually takes over the RTC offices or the CMO offices in whatever continent that there's a Sea Org sort of like base in that continent.
Did you talk about his offices in the HGB on Hollywood Boulevard?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Sorry, I was
somebody saying,
I'm
"What about
multitasking here?"
Yeah.
No, I was just curious.
Oh yeah, no, we covered that one.
Okay.
And then the other thing, so he can take over any of those other offices, and then this is as of 2005 when I was still there and I had still had access to these offices and I knew about them. So who knows what he's got now? He undoubtedly he has some sort of setup at these. I almost said SPTV, at the SMP, the Scientology Media Productions facility in Hollywood off of Sunset. Of course, there's a facility there because that's sort of his home base now. And just those studios alone cost millions, many, many millions, maybe most likely tens of millions of dollars to revamp all those studios. When they bought that studio location from KCET, it had been in disrepair, and it had old equipment from, decades old equipment there that KCET had used as a broadcast facility. So they pretty much gutted and did everything from scratch there in terms of new equipment and cameras and lights and editing facilities and all that good stuff. So I want to say if he spent less than $10 million on his audio listening rooms, that would be a low, low, low number. And that's just so he can listen to those products that I talked to you about. That's sort of the story that goes around. Well, he's got to be able to check these things in all these different places. Well, you don't need to check it on a $500,000 system. Anyway, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about that David Miscavige spends an insane amount of money, besides, him personally, if you're a cult boss and people are giving you millions of dollars, you can get millions of dollars. That's how it works in the United States, at least, and probably other countries as well. That's your prerogative. If you want to waste the money that people give you, then that's you get to do that. I don't know that the people know that that's what the people that are donating necessarily know this is what he's spending the money on. And some of them might not even care. Some of them might be like, he's the man. He's David Miscavige. He's L. Ron Hubbard's last loyal soldier. So he can spend the money however he pleases. But some of these people might be going like, what? This dude's, why is he doing that? And that's where this sort of goes into. When we produce these events, Scientology has these events all throughout the year. At one point, we were doing anywhere from 7 to 12 events every single year that would be shot like with cameras, with proper broadcast cameras, like the same cameras they're using to shoot the Super Bowl. We're not talking about we're not talking about the cameras we're using. We're talking about these big giant cameras that take two hands to turn, and you can zoom into a football 100 yards away. That kind of camera. That's what they're using to shoot these events that David Miscavige puts on. And you say, oh, come on, the same cameras as the Super Bowl. Yeah, the same cameras as the Super Bowl. Like the guys that are, when you shoot one of these events, at least when we did it, we had the same crew that would shoot the Super Bowl. We're doing our Scientology events. And this is the even crazier part. When they do a football game, they come in with this truck and the cameras and all the equipment, maybe a day or two before the game. Maybe. Sometimes it's just a day. But let's say some of them do it in 2 days. And they set up the cameras and they roll the cables, and then they have this thing called a broadcast truck. And the broadcast truck is essentially a giant semi-truck that's just filled with audio and video mixing and editing and switching facilities. And all of those cameras that you set up at the stadium, or in our cases, we're at a hall like the Shrine Auditorium. Though all the cables from those cameras run into those trucks, and they have giant screens and all these different mixers and effects machines and things to play videos, while the videos on the video walls on the sides of the stage and all that stuff. That doesn't come with the Shrine Auditorium. You rent all that stuff and you bring it and set it up at the Shrine Auditorium. And just like they do at these football games, the truck might come in a day or two before. They set everything up, they do the event, and then they strike it. And by morning, all that stuff's gone. And those people and all that equipment, that gets rented. And we would do that 7 to 12 events a year, and we would rent all that stuff. For one event at the Shrine, all of that stuff back in the 1990s and 2000s would cost about $500,000. $300,000, that's just for the truck. $300K truck. The people and the equipment and all that could be another $200,000 to $300,000 for everything. And now here's the crazy part. David Miscavige is not doing it like they do the football game. It's not getting set up the day before, and then they're doing the event, and then it's being broken down and gone. No, he wants all that stuff there for an entire week so that he can practice doing the event, and he can video it and do makeup tests and make sure he looks good and he's not sweating and his eyes he doesn't look like Spock and have his eyebrows going up. And so the Super Bowl guys, they're coming in. I think there was even an article about how they do the entire Super Bowl, that broadcast truck and everything, in 6 days. It's there for a week. Like, we're getting it set up on maybe Saturday or Sunday, and then it's set for Monday through Friday. The event's going to happen on Saturday, and they break it down Saturday night. Now, the same guys that are doing those NFL games are the guys that are working in the Scientology broadcast truck. The same guys. The guys doing the Olympics for NBC are the same guys that are setting up the cameras for David Miscavige. Now, I'm talking about 1990s money. Today, in today's money, that truck is $1 million that week. $1 million for the gear and the truck and everything. It's $1 million. And I think to this day, Scientology would still be doing that, except Scientology owed money all over town for renting this equipment. And the rental equipment companies said, we're not renting you the stuff anymore. And so in the past, I want to say, I guess 3 or 4 or 5 years, Scientology ended up buying all that equipment because they couldn't rent it. The companies wouldn't rent it to them anymore because they wouldn't pay them. And so now they bought all this equipment and they set it up, and they're using, as far as I know, they're using most of their own team to do these events now. And also, to be fair, they're not doing as many events as they used to do because David Miscavige is afraid of getting served. So he's not just running all over town doing these videos and doing these events. But that's just the equipment. You're talking about the Shrine Auditorium, that's got to get rented, or wherever they're doing the event, Ruth Eckerd Hall, that's got to get rented. And then the other thing that's really crazy, and this is where I did a thumbnail, what do Beyonce and David Miscavige share at $10,000 a day? Well, the thing that Beyonce and David Miscavige share is a makeup artist. David Miscavige's makeup artist, his name is Bruce. He gets $10,000 a day for doing David Miscavige makeup. Now, that's the makeup guy. There's another guy, Luke, who does the hair. And he's probably $8,000 or $7,500. And he's just doing David Miscavige, just that little bouffant. That's what he's doing. He's doing that for $7,500 a day. Now, David Miscavige's makeup artist used to be a Sea Org member. And when I was still there, we had an order from David Miscavige that we had to get in the guy or the gal or whoever it was that was doing hair, that was doing makeup, and was doing microphones, the microphone audio for the president. He said, find out who's doing the president, and I want that guy, and I want him or her to train the Sea Org member that used to do David Miscavige's makeup. Well, that Sea Org member's name was Sarney Wiley. And Sarney Wiley was sent to the RPF because David Miscavige was sweating at one of the events. And she had done some other things, like she tried some new makeup on one time that made him break out really bad. And I mean, she had her ups and downs. But regardless, the guy who did the president, who trained the Sea Org member, that wasn't good enough. He had to get somebody out. And this, I wasn't there when this happened, but this is the story I was told by somebody who was, is that when they were looking for this makeup artist to do David Miscavige, the only requirements were to find out who is doing the makeup for the biggest stars and that are not gay. That's who David Miscavige's makeup artist can be. It can be the most awesome makeup artist, but that makeup artist can't be gay. And that is how they ended up with Bruce and Luke. And
so
Bruce
much for
and Luke,
equal opportunity, right?
Yeah, Bruce and Luke, if you're out there and you're watching this, that's how you got picked. You were good and not gay. And that's just makeup and hair, guys. This guy's got, $10,000 shoes from Italy or London or wherever he's going for his shoes, and his suits are made by, there's a guy in Beverly Hills. I don't know if he still uses this guy, but he used this guy the entire 15 years I was there. He was getting his suits from a guy named Mr. Lim. And Mr. Lim was like he was doing Will Smith and, Leonardo DiCaprio and all these big time Hollywood celebrities. He was doing their suits. And I think he's done some suits for Clinton, Bill Clinton, and some other folks. But he's the tailor to the stars. And that was David Miscavige's tailor the entire time that I was working on these events, and we would have to pay this guy to alter stuff or do stuff. And it was sort of like all of David Miscavige's Sea Org uniforms, his jackets with the braids and all that, those were all custom tailored by this Mr. Lim guy. So any suits that David Miscavige had were made by him. And I think he also had some uniforms and some other things made by a Scientology tailor, which was it Claudio? Was that his name? Tiziano's dad?
Claudio. Yep. Claudio Lugli.
Claudio Lugli was his tailor for a while. And that's how we know how tall. That's how we know he's 4'13", because Claudio is measuring him. Claudio's got all his measurements. He knows where, he knows every part of him. He knows every inch of his body. Gosh. He literally does know every inch of his body.
I'm not laughing at you. Kelly Copter said, "Oh, Mr. Lim, what a great name for a suit guy. Lim, L-I-M-B." And then Mary Kahn is here. And Mary Kahn was like, which Lim was it?
It's also L-I-M.
I said that.
He is an Asian gentleman named Mr. Lim. I can't remember his name. You could look it up. He's got to have a website, or he's got to have some sort of portfolio of all the pictures of all the celebrities he's done.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the name. There was a name of the tailor. I don't remember but Mr. Lim is the guy who did it. Anyway, you completely mind wiped me, and I don't even remember where I was going with that.
It was so worth it.
Anyway, either way, this is just the stuff that I could just list out off the top of my head on how much they're doing this. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say is, so let's just say the Scientology they're using essentially the same people and the same equipment that they're using to do a Super Bowl game. That's the same equipment they're doing for one of these Scientology events. Well, the Super Bowl is getting watched by 200 million people. So your price per person is very low in terms of how that money is being spent. You're dividing it into the amount of people that are going to watch this event. Well, Scientology is showing that event maximum 20,000 people. 20,000, maybe 25,000. So you're spending $1 million an event to show it to 25,000 people. Like, this is how Scientology is catering to these. Am I still here?
Yeah.
Oh, this weird Wi-Fi thing just popped up on my screen, just out of nowhere. As long as we're still good, I'm still good. If I go out, text me or something, and I'll jump back in.
I'll wave. I'll be like, hey, get your butt back in here. Stop blowing.
Anyway, so they're spending these millions and millions of dollars, and David Miscavige is getting his hair and makeup done for $15,000, $20,000 for 25,000 people, so that they can convince these people that they're so big. The reason why we're so big, and because we're spending all the, it's Hollywood, guys. The Scientology is the make-believe cult. They're making out like they've got all these properties, and all these people are coming in, and we're doing all these events, and we're reaching millions and millions and millions of people, and the whole world is turning into Scientologists. It's all a big show. It's a show. It's not real. It's fake. And they're paying for it. And there's these big Scientology moneymakers that are giving them tens of millions of dollars, and they're keeping this thing going. And that's the only reason that he's able to get more of these donors. And he even said to the event crew recently, he told them these events are costing about $1 million, but we're making that a day on the donations that I'm getting from these big donors. We'll make that in one day after an event. So he's probably making $10 million to put on one of these $1 million events or $2 million events or whatever it is. He's making $8 million off those because he's pretending that they're doing all this good work, and they believe it, and then they're giving him money so he can do the next bunches of events and buy another building that's going to sit empty. And so this is how this is happening, and this is why it's hard for people to understand. Well, why are these guys giving them so much money? Because every time they give him money, he shoots another event or produces another thing that makes it look like all that money is getting used, and they got all these hundreds of thousands of people into Scientology, and these guys are buying it. These guys are falling for it, and that is how they've been doing this. Scientology itself, when it's delivering Scientology counseling and Scientology courses, is that operation is bankrupt, but heavily bankrupt. When we left in 2005, when Scientology says, hey, we want you to do a course, and then you give them the money for the course. Let's say you're going to do your entire bridge all the way up to OT8. Let's say Scientology says, we want $500,000 from you to do all that. And you give them the $500,000. And then you start marching up the bridge. And then you get halfway and you're like, this is crazy. I want my money back. They don't give you your money back. That money's gone forever. But let's just say you just are doing it, but you're doing it slow. the money that people have paid for things that they haven't yet done inside of Scientology. Like if you pay for a course and you haven't done the course yet, that is counted as an advanced payment. And there's a special account. It's called the AP account, the advanced payment account. That money is supposed to sit in that account until that person does that service. Well, I don't need to tell you where this is going. But Scientology already done spent that money. They didn't save that money. So when in 2005, when we left, they had $1 billion in advanced payments. So people have been paying for courses, and Scientology has not been delivering those courses. And the tune of those undone courses was $1 billion in 2005. So essentially, if every single person in Scientology said, we're not going to give you any more money until we do all the courses that we've already paid for, Scientology would immediately be $1 billion in the hole. So when somebody says, oh, they have $3 billion right now, they might have $2 billion in undelivered services. So if every Scientologist just decided to stop giving them any money for anything and just, no, I'm just going to use the money that I have on account, Scientology, it would be very possible that Scientology would go bankrupt very quickly because they'd still be spending money, but they wouldn't be getting any in. And this is where David Miscavige figured out he's got to find another income source to subsidize everything, because just doing Scientology doesn't do that. Getting people to donate money to Scientology is what makes that work. So that's where this tax exemption thing kind of comes into play, because if they didn't have tax exemption and they couldn't get these giant donors, then it's very possible that Scientology would have to figure out a new way to get money, because doing Scientology doesn't make money. It's just getting money for free what is keeping Scientology afloat. Anyway, I think that's enough of that. I think that gives everybody good amount of information on some of that stuff. And it wasn't clickbait. I told you what Beyonce, all those guys are like, oh no, that was that was a little bit of a clickbaity thumbnail there. No, that was pretty spot on right there, I think. Also, I had to figure out a way to use that shoop somebody did. Somebody did a shoop of David Miscavige in like a steam bath with Tom Cruise from Top Gun, and they prettied up David Miscavige. And that thumbnail, I think it's the thumbnail, but that video has got on the views of videos on our channel, that's one of the top videos, that one with Dave Miscavige all prettied up. So I had to figure out a way to work that into a thumbnail again. And this Beyonce thing was I had to open that door right up. So we did that because it was makeup too. It's kind of like a no-brainer. It's like Dave Miscavige with makeup. His makeup artist is $10K a day. Beyonce's got the same one. Let's put those two in the thumbnail together. That's how that came together, folks. And that happened like, somebody texted me that like on the way to do this video. I had to do that fast, okay? We work fast here at SPTV. If you guys have questions, it looks like we got a bunch in the questions here. This is the only soap opera that you can talk to, just so you know. If you're watching your stories here and you want to know what's happening in Scientology, you can't, Days of Our Lives on TV, you can't talk to that guy. You can't talk to the guys and the gals on the show. In this one, you can. You can talk right to them. And if you have a question about what happened to one of the characters, you can ask right in the comments, and we'll tell you what's going on with that character. Yeah. If you guys have questions, we're gonna get to those. And as always, we're gonna try to keep the split pretty even. We do super chats, that's for sure. We appreciate super chats. We appreciate super stickers. We love that. We're not, I'm not doing this for my health, folks. We're trying to get the word out. But super chats and super stickers, they ease it. They let the medicine go down a little smoother. And but we also do try to get to some of the other folks. If we see another good question in there, or we see a frequent flyer in there that likes to ask questions, we'll do that one too.
Yep,
is there anything else?
We have a bunch of great people here. Like I said, Mary Kahn is here. Kelly Copter is here. I saw Amy Scovey is here.
Oh, perfect.
And Jeff Hawkins is here, and today is Jeff's anniversary of getting out of Scientology. So congratulations,
nice.
Jeff. Great
Happy anniversary, Dave.
Yes.
Or Jeff. Getting away from Dave.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, well,
and I'm sure there's a ton of other people too, so I'm not trying to miss anyone, but those are the ones that I noticed.
I'm going to do this one. This one came in an hour before we even started the video, I think. It said, Headley's relationship is such an inspiration. Oh, and Mark, thanks for exposing me to the band DM. LOL'd in shock at your story about how petty and sadistic the midget DM was about Gon's overdose. Yeah, he was kind of shitty about that, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was really... And that was the day after he just had essentially told... Not even essentially. He literally told everyone at the property in a briefing that he sent you back to the base in a body bag. Yeah,
he sure did. Mark and Claire, I just love you both and thank you for all you do. Got my coffee. Let's go. Yeah, these are right. I think that one was an hour before the show as well. Nice. People were stacking up in here before we started. I just see all these are pre. Yeah, look at this. I'm just gonna hit these guys here. Hello from Columbus, Twin Cities, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Andover, UK, Alberta, Canada, London, Denver, Steve-O. Greetings from Northern Larkspur, Colorado. Northern Larkspur. What a maniac. That's an inside joke.
Else, there is no Northern Larkspur. Yeah. Larkspur is a very small town
Hello
south of
from
us.
Wisconsin, Poland, Vancouver, Scotland. Yeah, we got a West Virginia.
I saw there was someone even here from Tasmania.
Yeah, Tasmania, Germany. Yeah, we have got a lot of people in here. What's this one say? C.O. Bilf, I spend Scientology's money wisely. We are still recovering from Mark's theft of $1 billion worth of camera and editing equipment. Yes, exactly. C.O. Bilf, Dr. Parody account over here. Susie Q, DFW, looking forward to it. That was just me saying we're going to do a video today. Okay, let's get to some of these super chats. Luis Milne, great to see you both live at a great time for those of us in the UK. You are both amazing. Yes, thank you. We do try to do these on Sundays. It's easier for me. Sunday, I have a day off, so it's easier for me to do a video during the day on Sunday. Hi from Germany. Thank you for considering our time zone. You're welcome. Yes. Golly, gosh darn it, you two. I wasn't aware how much we missed you guys until you weren't on the air. Glad to see you both back. Thank you, Denver Steve-O. Yeah, we've just been working. We've been working. And Claire has, I want to say Claire has 2 or 3 videos of a new series that she's done. Do we want to play that intro?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, you get
and
some...
I have 4 so far, 4 done.
4 interviews?
Yes.
Okay, and I've edited 2 of those. So we are stacking up this new series that's coming out, guys.
So we may appear to be slacking off, but we're not actually.
Well, these take a little bit more to put together.
Yeah.
But why don't you go and find some Claire comments to answer while I figure out I can get this video up here.
Okay, you got the HD one.
I did not.
That I marked as, Mark, use this one. That's what I named it in the folder.
Oh, you put it in the same place as the other one?
Yep, but there's a dedicated folder that says HD versions, and I named it Mark.
You have to send me a link to that. I don't have that.
Okay.
So
all right. So
I'll keep doing questions. Send me the link, and I'll keep doing some questions here.
Okay. All right. Bear with me, folks.
Sorry, guys. We didn't. I just realized we have this thing, and here, Claire, all the best, and keep them straight. I don't know what that's about, but okay, fine. We'll keep everything straight. In the sci-fi-esque war room pic, Dave seems to be wearing a Rolex. Given what Sea Org pays, I hope it's fake. Oh, no, that's another thing that a lot of people don't know. Sea Org members make $45 a week. David Miscavige is the captain of the Sea Org, And I think he does make $45 a week, but he also gets a salary from RTC that's several hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So he can easily afford a Rolex. He's not worried about that. Jefferson Hawken, today marks my 18th year free from Scientology. Left 16 April 2005. Oh, so we've been gone 18 years now. I keep saying 17 years. It's 18 years now. We just ticked over another year.
Yep.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Yes.
Okay, let's see what else. COS response: the church's money is spent wisely. We are still recovering from. It's just another one. This is the church's response. Has surviving COS made you fearless? You've experienced the worst of life has to offer and survived. Not everyone does. I wouldn't say it's made me fearless, but I would say that it's made us. I think Aaron said it the best. We are the most resistive strain of Scientology escapees that there are, because we have been, well, first of all, if you're working 120 hours a week, that's pretty hard. If you can do that for 15 years and keep busy and keep doing stuff and keep productive for 15 years, well, now we leave. Claire and I both have separate businesses and companies that we run. And I mean, I don't want to brag, but we pretty much slay it on a full. What do you show? Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
You're supposed to send it to me. You're not supposed to.
I did. And I also was trying to be super effective and upload it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, this girl. Like I was saying, we're very busy. But
close.
Yeah, we're very busy. But if we have to do our normal day job, deal with the kids, the 3 boys that we have, and everything else that we're doing in life, doing some videos in our spare time is hardly tough compared to what we used to do. So it's sort of all relative. I'm not fearless. There's not a lot of things that I do fear because it's not really that hard compared to what we have done.
Yeah.
So
the funniest is when people have asked us, so how do you deal with stress? You know, people that just had no idea where we came from or who we are. And we're like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, we have had, and that is the other reason why it's sort of hard when they talk smack about us on the internet. It's like, you were doing that to my face when I was there. Now you're just doing it on Twitter as some troll. And also there are a good amount of people that are trying to get like Elon Musk to take Scientology off Twitter. That's a zero sum game. I don't think you should worry about that. The same reason that Elon's not going to take Scientology off Twitter because we're complaining about him is the same reason he's not taking us off Twitter because we're complaining about Scientology. It's sort of like whose truth is the truth. Twitter is not the arbiter of what truth is truth. If there is something that is a blatant lie that they can verify as a lie, they will mark it in the community notes or whatever as this is false, da-da-da-da-da. Scientology is very careful about how they word things and how that they it's called black PR, or how they smear us or how they put these hate tweets up to kind of dodge around those rules where Twitter can't really put their hand on exactly what they're doing. So I think if we're just telling the truth about Scientology, it makes it a lot harder for them to lie about us on Twitter and for it to be believable. There are a lot of people on Twitter that find us because of the things that Scientology post on Twitter. So I don't like the hate, and I don't like the Twitter trolls and all that. I'm not saying I support them. I'm just saying it's not the worst thing that could be, because they sort of are proving what we're saying about them by engaging in this hateful and just blatantly dishonest behavior. And we're very straightforward. You don't see these guys appearing live on videos and answering questions. That's not happening. We are doing that, and we're telling these stories over and over and over again. and they're all coming out the same. It's multiple people. Scientology can't even muster up one single person to talk, not one, and we've got like 10 or 15. So if you're in the group of people that are trying to, you're just tweeting at Elon full time. I'm not sure that that's very productive. I'm just saying. You can still do it if you want, do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, I'm not sure that it's ever going to change. Everything that I've heard that he's said in interviews, he's not gonna take them off Twitter. So I wouldn't even bother wasting your time with it if I were you. Okay, let's get to the next question. Could DM change LRH rules completely and allow SO members to talk to SP? No one can question him, can't they? Yeah, that's not really. He would, if there's something that's ruining Scientology that he needs to get around, he'll change that. Like L. Ron Hubbard said for them not to do these events. These events that I just told you, they're spending $1 million each time, 7 to 12 times a year. L. Ron Hubbard specifically said not to do that. L. Ron Hubbard also said, don't raise donations. Don't ask people for money and give them nothing. That's criminal. Do not do that in Scientology. David Miscavige is doing both those things full time, so he can change the rules he wants to change. Allowing people to talk to suppressives, that's sort of like a rule he can't change, because if they do that, Scientologists are going to be like, that's weird. The rule about the events and the rule about the donations, only the very, very top level Sea Org members know about those rules and those things that L. Ron Hubbard said. So the 99% of other people in Scientology, they don't know that L. Ron Hubbard said not to do those things. So the fact that David Miscavige is doing those things, it doesn't really mean anything to anybody.
Yep.
Okay, Shay says, former Mormon atheist, but this quote for why help others in COS: greater love hath no man than this, than a man laid down his life for his friends. Well, there you go. That's a very apropos quote. Thank you for that, Shay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good quote. Greater love hath no man than this, than a man lay down his life for his friends. There you go. I didn't know that, but that seems to make sense to me.
Great quote. That was
for
moving.
The naysayers, prisoners in California make $1 an hour. Oh, Sea Org members make less than slave wages. There is a thing called slave wages. Where are my quotes? Slave wages. They have in China. The last time I checked, slave wages in China were about, I want to say they were 50 cents an hour.
Yep.
And Sea Org members, if you average it out, Sea Org members make about 36 cents an hour. That's how much I made over the years that I was there. Because even though you make $50 a week, it's not a guarantee that you're getting $50 a week. That $50 is sort of like, hey, I'm thinking of giving you some money. Here's some money. They don't even have to give you the $50. The $50 just keeps the prisoners kind of like there, so they have a little bit of money. And I want to say in Florida for a little while, they were making, I think it went to $75 or $100 a week for a little while. And
really?
And they cut it and they put it back to the $50.
While
which
we
to
were
me,
still there?
What's that?
That was while we were still there?
No. After we left.
Oh, okay.
And we were making all this noise and we were suing them and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They raised the Sea Org pay, but just in Clearwater. They didn't do it everywhere. They just did it in Clearwater. I think it was a test. But you got to dig. These guys in Clearwater are making $1 million a week every week. The flag base makes $1 million a week every single week in Clearwater. The Clearwater facility makes more money than all of Scientology combined. If you just take that one organization in Florida and add up every single other organization in the world, they don't make as much as just the Clearwater location. So when they're buying all this property and they're doing all this stuff, they got to spend that money. They can't hoard it. They got to spend it. So, they got it. They were getting $100 a week, but then Dave was like, nah, screw you guys. I'm going to give you the 50 again. You guys ain't worth 100. If you were to somebody could do the math on this, but I bet you, let's just say in 1990, when we got there, we're making $50 a week. If you just raised Sea Org pay based on inflation, I'm pretty sure they should be getting about $1.15, $1.20 a week. That's about, I don't know what the math is, but you say like average inflation a year, 2.5% from 1990. Your buying power of $50 is probably what, like the stuff, I want to say the stuff you could buy for $50 in 1990, you probably need about a little over 110, $120 to buy today. In today's money, that same stuff's going to cost you $120. So they should probably be getting about $150 a week. That's probably because the $50 has been that way. Yeah, I want to say it was about the 90s. It used to be 35 for a long time. It used to be 10 for a long time. So they're way behind. They should be getting, those Sea Org members, if whatever they were getting when L. Ron Hubbard made it, I think it was $5 a week in the 60s. 1969, I think it was $5 a week. They should probably, maybe it was $10. I don't know. It was also in Quid or it was also in another format when he first did it. So who knows? Anyway, what is Boss Baby's daily life like? It seems like he spends a lot of time hiding out. Doesn't have a family life. Does he go on vacations? It seems like a very isolated life. Well, you know what? That's a great question, Elsie. Did you send me the link to that video?
I did.
Okay, perfect. How did you send it to me?
I texted it to you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just when I was on the way over to do this video, I was talking with somebody, and they said, well, it was Matt Pesh. I'll just tell you, it was Matt Pesh. He was talking with Tom DeVocht one time when they were in Florida at Clearwater, and they were at where the boats were in the Clearwater Bay, and Matt was like, "Oh, check out that boat. That's really." Oh, Tom DeVocht was like, "Oh yeah, we rented that boat. Dave Miscavige rented that boat just so he could kind of go scuba diving and do whatever, just go for a little day trip on this little boat." And they were spending tens of thousands of dollars a day just to rent this boat, so he could go out for the afternoon. So David Miscavige, I'm pretty sure these days he does have a lot of hiding out to do, but when he wants to go on vacation, he goes on vacation just like any other rich person. He just goes and does his thing, and he has his privacy, and he definitely, I would say the activities that he would spend a single day doing, that's more than a Sea Org will make their entire lifetime. What he's spending on a daily, like if, let's just say the yacht example, he's going out on a yacht for, let's just say $25,000. He's going on a yacht for $25,000. That's more than a Sea Org member is going to make. That's how much in 15 years, my Social Security statement was $29,000 for the entire 15 years. That was the total amount of Scientology income that I received in 15. It was actually more than that. It was like 16 years because I worked at another place before the international headquarters. So I made $29,000 for 120 hours a week for 15 years. So you can do the math, and that comes out to about 36 cents. 36 cents an hour. Just love your content. I've always been curious about Scientology, and you have educated you. Thank you both so much. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for being
here. That
here.
was another thing we were talking about, is that when we do these TV shows, we have to educate the viewer in the episode. So we have to kind of get the lingo. We got to kind of set the story. We got to set the places, and we have to tell that whole story in a setup, like in the first act. So in 15 minutes, we have to set up everything so that then we can tell you the story, and then we can get the reactions. We have to do all that in an hour show. It's not workable. We're educating you guys. I mean, we have like 80 videos on here. We're educating you slowly over 80 videos. And the people that have watched all 80 videos, you guys know the lingo, you know the characters, you know the players, you know everything. It's hard to do that in a TV show format that advertisers are going to, like Tide's going to put their money on, because some of that education is either very boring or very horrible or very traumatic. People don't want to hear about that stuff. Rock it out with Kim D. Hey. Oh, no, high. Is it high?
High.
It's high.
Yes, it's high.
Slow and steady wins the race. SPTV is amazing. I enjoy the variety of content. If you need help leaving Scientology, people are ready for you. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you. Seeker0628 says, I've always been a supporter of people trying to start over and trying to get their lives back. They all need our love and understanding. That's exactly correct. Yeah, we're not trying to beat up the Scientologists. We're trying to educate the Scientologists. And yeah, they're really coming hard at us on Twitter, attacking us, and they hate this, and we're what do they call apostates? What's the other word they use for us all the time? I can't remember. Cracker lickers, whatever they call us. We're just like, whatever. We're like, whatever. Okay. You guys don't. Okay. We're here whenever you want to get out. We're still here. When escaping cults, I meant. Yes, when escaping cults. Thank you. Deviant outcast. Me not able to super chat equals I wanted to ask Claire, got my bobblehead email and additional questions about that.
Yes, I responded to that. I will respond to your email. Thank you.
Perfect. Awesome. Good for you. Good. You got it all going on here.
Yep.
Amy Scobie. Hey, Denver Steve-O. Hand pink waving.
I marked that so you'd know Amy was here. And
yes.
hi.
Thank you, Amy. We appreciate Amy. Amy's going to be a great addition to SPTV. I'm really happy that she's doing it. She has great content up on her channel right now, and she just started in like the last week or two, and she's already got a ton of great content over there. So we can't forget to put a link in the description.
Yep, I made a note of that.
Thank you. Wes Milby says, with how quickly electronic technology changes, imagine how much DM reinvested to upgrade. Oh yeah, no doubt. If he doesn't have the latest and greatest cool gadgets, he's not happy about the project. I would remember when we would do these audio things, like there was almost the same equipment in each. Whoa! Almost knocked over my. Almost the same exact equipment in each office from place to place, just so the same thing would sound the same way. It was almost always the same speakers, almost always the same CD player, the same cassette player, the same D to A converter, the same A to D converter, the same turntables. All this stuff was always the same. And then if you changed one thing, like you'd be like, oh, they just got this new turntable, it's amazing. And then we'd test it at the Imp base and we'd get it and it'd be like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, but it's $25,000. It'd be like, okay, you got to sell all the other turntables and you got to buy all these new ones. And so it would be this big thing. And there's a place at the Imp base that's called LRH's Audio Visual. And for short, they call it RAV, R-A-V, Ron's A-V. And so RAV, at any given time, would usually have about, I'd say anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million worth of audio visual equipment that was just sort of in transit or limbo. It was either there for testing, or it was there to be sold, or it was there to get fixed, or it was going to go into LRH's home, or it was going to go into Dave's office. They always had, and they had a very, very expensive listening room set up there where Dave would come and test things that would then become part of his setups. So, yeah, I can't imagine these days with the amount of, just the advancement of technology and how fast it is, how many just things are just like, oh, I need this now. Oh, I need that now. Debbie Baker, super sticker. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it. Debbie, again, super sticker. I love both of you. Well, thank you, Debbie.
You. Thanks for
we
being
love
here.
you guys too. We're all in this together.
This is
Michelle,
absolutely a growing and amazing community. So thank you.
Oh
to
yeah,
everybody
we're
who's
already
here.
up to 1,500 people in here right now.
Nice.
And we're just about a $1.15 into this thing.
Nice.
Doesn't COS own the 2 hall they're having the events in? They used to do a lot of their events in the Flag Auditorium at the Clearwater base at Flag, the Flag land base. And I want to say the Fort Harrison holds like 1,800 people. It's not a lot. And it became a thing where We would do events at the Shrine. So we would do the New Year's events at the Shrine, and we do a few other events at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. And I want to say that held anywhere, depending on if you use the balcony or if you had it all open or whatever. It would be like 4,500 or something like that, maybe 5,000. They could never fill the Shrine. Never. There would always be empty seats in the balcony, and it would always be a flap that they could never fill the Shrine, even though there were more Scientologists in Los Angeles than anywhere else in the world, because you have Los Angeles, you have Orange County, you had all these LA adjacent organizations. So you could get a lot of people to Los Angeles for an event, but they could never get more than about 4,500 people together to watch one of those events. And a large portion of those people that would be at the event were Sea Org members and staff members, and they still couldn't fill it, even with all of them. So imagine that they're holding events at the Flag Auditorium, and they got 1,800 people they can fit in that thing. Let's even say they could fit 2,000 people. That's not a lot of people when a majority of them are the Sea Org members and the staff that work at that place. So they were supposed to build an L. Ron Hubbard Hall next to the new flag building. I don't think they've built that. They're supposed to build like a new amphitheater there where they would do.
They're building that now. We have pictures of Bobble Mike there from one of the electricians working on it.
What?
Yeah, I thought you saw those.
Don't get fired, dude. Jeez Louise. We have had people send us space plans and blueprints and pictures of stuff being built, and I'm very cautious to show those because I don't want to get anybody in trouble that's working there. But so they're building it, I guess. They've been talking about building. When we were there, they were just about to build it any day now, and they were raising, they probably raised $100 million to build this new hall. It's going to cost 10. Anyway, did the Truman Show resonate with all of you? Yeah, that place is absolutely just like the Truman Hall, the Truman Show. I think when I first got out in 2005, Tori, the woman that Claire just interviewed on her one of her videos, Scientology Story Series, she likened Scientology to the Truman Show because everybody knows what's going on except for you. And you don't know.
The fact of the matter is I have not actually watched the Truman Show. It was during our media blackout years. I still need to watch it.
Yeah, that's true. We were in the crazy place. We call it the crazy place whenever we're talking with our neighbors or when I worked at the crazy place. But yes, we were in the crazy place.
The other movie that Tori mentioned was Pleasantville as another analogy.
Where the black and white people turn to color when they kind of wake up kind of thing.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Mark, was the owner of Ed Hardy a Scientologist? No. The owner of Ed Hardy was an associate of somebody that I was working for at the time when I was invited to the infamous birthday party that happened at the Ed Hardy launch party in Hollywood, right next to the Scientology place there. Care Bear 23 says, Claire and A.A. Ron. I'm Mark. A.A. Ron is the bald guy on the other channel.
No, just read the comment. You'll understand. She's not talking to you.
Claire and A.A. Ron. Oh, because you guys are going to be in Los Angeles.
Right.
Claire and A.A. Ron. I live in Burbank area and would love to help if you guys need anything while you're out here. You guys rock. Thank you, awesome. Care Bear. I appreciate it. Yeah, there's a lot of times in the comments people are like, Mike, keep up the good work.
I know,
and I'm sort of like, well, I'm Mark, but that's okay. Mike, keep up the good work. I think that's a good thing.
Yes. No, that was not one of those examples.
Yes. Lathanda says, why does COS keep orgs in countries where they don't have tax-exempt status, like Germany? There is no way they're getting big donations here. I'm not so clear on why they do that. And there also might be a reason for them to do things in the European Union where they are getting big donations. They can spend money on places that aren't, so that they can sort of spend the money and not stockpile it. It's hard for them to get money in and out of different countries depending on the rules in that country. So they kind of try to spread it all out.
And they are constantly still working to gain tax exempt status.
Yeah, they do spend money on lobbyists and
countries.
lawyers and all that good stuff. So they could be, they could be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in a country where they don't yet have that exemption, where they still want it. I don't think they're going to get it in Germany, but they can still try and spend money on it. Andy Brown says, but they can't afford contact lenses for Mark and the Sea Org live like paupers. Yeah, I would remember, I think I want to say contacts were, depending on how many I was getting, were like either $30 or $50 or something like that. And I would get a pair or a bunch of new pairs like every year. So I would wear the contacts. Like I wore my daily wears that you're supposed to take out each night and clean them and then maybe throw them away after a week or so. I'd wear one pair for 5 months. Like at one point, I think they had fused to my eyeballs.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I remember that.
I'd had them in so long that when I went to the optometrist, they couldn't get them out, and I had scarring. But sometimes I would wear them until they just disintegrated. I'd wear them that long. Yeah. So
and when when you're not going home, the lines kind of become blurred on, pun intended, I guess, on when do you take your contact lenses out.
Yeah, it's not a lot of
if you're staying
not a
up
lot
all
of
night.
time to clean your lenses and let them soak overnight when you just don't go home and you don't sleep.
Yeah.
What happened here? I lost me. Oh, there we go. Gary. Hey, you two. Hey, thanks, Gary. Gary Moorhead starting his own channel as well, getting some stuff going. You know what I did? I talked to Gary. He's got some good stuff. I think he might even talk about, I shared with him a copy of some of the spy files that had security type stuff in them. So he might even be doing videos about those.
Nice.
Or we might do them together. I don't exactly know how he wants to tackle it, but if I'm not out of town, I'll help with that if he needs it.
And just to correct my previous statement about the amphitheater in Clearwater, the picture we have is the Clearwater Redevelopment Amphitheater. It's that building. They haven't broken ground on the Ellery Hall.
I know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the L. Ron Hubbard Hall.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that.
They're building one of those in Clearwater.
Yep.
So that Scientology can do events in their own facility. And I hope they make it bigger than the Fort Harrison. I don't know why they'd have the same one, but I think they want to make it to be like 3,500 people or 4,500 to replace them having to pay the Ruth Eckerd Hall to do events there, or to the Shrine or whatever. Since they're trying to get everybody to move to Clearwater, it would make sense that they would do that. But they've been working on it for millions of years, it seems like.
Yeah. After
Kelly,
this, are you going to show my trailer?
Yeah, I got to get it. You were supposed to do questions while I did that.
Okay,
you haven't done that part yet.
I'll do questions. You
there
do
you
this
go.
one. I'll take over.
Perfect.
And let me know before you play it, and I'll explain the inspiration for my Where is Shelley series.
Awesome. I don't have the link, by the way.
I texted it to you.
I don't have it.
Okay.
I have Just Getting Coffee. Oh, I see. You texted it from another thing. I found it. I got it.
Perfect.
It says something different. I won't say what it says.
All right. I'm going to take over the comments then. So.
Good.
Kelly O'Hara always knew Scientology was creepy, but Aftermath and SPTV really opened my eyes to the reality. Thank you for all you do and keep up the good fight. Thank you so much, Kelly. We appreciate it, and thank you for being here. And so hold on, I'm taking over here. I don't know where you are. You haven't been unstarring them. Okay. Almost there, folks. Okay, here we go. Alice in Wonderland, did you have to pay income tax on the pittance you earned? Yes, we did. We received little pay stubs that showed that of the $50 we earned, something like $4 and some cents had been allegedly remitted to the state of California and the IRS, though I never actually saw a W-2 that I recall, so no proof of that. All right, next question. Here we go. Reem C. What is the general reaction of public Scientologists to the information presented in History of Man? It seems that book would alert people that something is very wrong with Hubbard. My response to that is you don't ever actually compare notes. When you're in Scientology, it's actually forbidden to discuss your thoughts about Hubbard's writings. That's called verbal tech, which is a crime. And you certainly don't ever say anything negative about it either. So there you go. There is no reaction of public Scientologists that you're ever aware of. And Panko Super Sticker, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Hey, Mark, what happened to Darius Wilhair? He is now a public Scientologist, still in and still drinking the Kool-Aid. We actually came very close to breaking him out. Very, very close. He was in Mexico, and he was almost going to come visit us. And then OSA caught wind of it, and it was shut down immediately. So there you go. Next one, Chris on the drums. A couple of weeks ago, I asked about a tour of gold on Google Maps. Mark pointed me to the video with Aaron. Just wanted to say thanks. It was awesome. There you go. Nice. Lathanda Grocklings. Claire, you should interview John Oliver for your new series. He has been asking, where's Shelley, for many years on his show. It would be interesting to hear his reasons behind that. Completely. I will absolutely give it a shot. I have, while we're on this topic, the inspiration for my series, Where is Shelley? Obviously, for the since Leah Remini left Scientology and filed a missing persons report and the Vanity Fair article and a few other things, it's become very, in my opinion, it changed the narrative of Scientology dramatically. From prior to that, people would say, oh, that's Scientology's that crazy thing of Tom Cruise jumping on couches. Now it's far more appropriate to me to be posing the question, where is Shelley? Because to me, and again in my experience, this question epitomizes what is wrong with Scientology in the United States of America today. And not only did I work very closely with Shelley, I knew her for 13 years, worked very closely with her for 8 years, and actually over a 4-year period when I was a top executive in Religious Technology Center, I reported to her almost daily. She was running me on my day-to-day work, as it were. And she should be free to leave if she wants to, and I don't believe that's the case. I could easily be in Shelley's position in lockup, came very close to it, in fact. And it's absolutely not okay. And it's important that we keep this question in public view and explore it. So the inspiration for my series was to interview people like myself, of which there are many, who know and worked with Shelley on a personal level over many years. And my research that I started doing for this series, so far, Shelley became a Scientologist when she was 4 years old, same age as me, actually. So she has been a Scientologist now for 58 years. She joined the Sea organization at a very young age and was working on the ship with L. Ron Hubbard from the age of 12. And the impact that has on somebody from growing up in it, and that's all the only life she's ever known. Nonetheless, all of that does not justify her not having the freedom to leave. And the fact that nobody has answered the question, where is Shelley, has inspired this series. There you go. Does that cover it well, honey?
Pretty good.
Okay. And before you play the trailer, I wanted to give a special thank you to Kelly Copter, who helped me put this together, and she did a fantastic job.
Now, just so you know, I don't have the HD version.
Okay.
So I can't download anything that you've sent me. So I have the other version that I can play right now.
Okay, great.
So is that all you wanted to say about it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can. Can you hear it when I play like that?
I don't hear anything yet.
Oh, I know that. I'm gonna. Because when I add it, there you go. It just plays it no matter what. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I hate doing this when we didn't test it beforehand. I'm not going to play it.
Okay. You're not going to play it after all that?
No, I can't play it. Can you hear it?
No?
Yeah, there you go. Then no one can hear it.
Okay.
So it's all good. I'm not going to play it. I don't have it. If you wanted to play it, you should have sent it to me.
Okay. Well, why don't I play it then?
You can do whatever you want. If you have it, play it.
Okay. Let me try. Here we go, folks. Hold on.
She has not appeared in public.
So now we are ready.
Shelley Miscavige. She has not appeared in public since 2005.
You gonna
Where's
play
Shelley
it?
and what happened?
Where is Shelley?
We're looking at like 17 years of a person just missing.
Shelley Miscavige was given into the sole care of L. Ron Hubbard by...
What are you doing?
Are you playing it?
Yes, it's playing.
Yeah, I can't hear or see anything. I'm going to get out and you do it and I'll come back.
Okay.
her parents when she was 12.
This is where Shelley is believed to be being held captive.
Do you believe that Shelley Miscavige is a threat today?
Oh,
Absolutely.
she's seen it all. She's been by his side the whole time.
Boom. There you go. Hopefully Mark shows back up. That is my trailer for my new series. I have many wonderful people participating in it. And honestly, I've learned a lot about Shelley's life. So yeah, I'm excited. And hopefully Mark comes back in here, and no worries if he doesn't. We'll get back to answering the rest of the questions here. So let's see here. All right, here we go. COB Ilf. Osa keeps trying to convince me Steve Fabos is Denver Steve-O, but I'm like, no way, Jose. Yeah, there you go. Tarkina Meyer, thank you for all you do to expose the lies. Love your interview series. Claire, good luck with the trial. We are all sending positive thoughts your way. Thank you, and thank you for watching the interview series. There you are.
Hey,
you're back.
Did you play it?
Yes,
Sorry,
I did.
I literally could not hear or see anything, and everything was frozen. So I was like, I think I need to get out of there.
That's okay.
Sorry. Did you play it all the way through? Did I stop it? Do you want to play it again?
You paused it right in the middle, but that's okay.
Okay.
It's
we'll put it up as a separate video on the channel just to have
perfect.
it as
a
let's
video
do
that
people can go to. Sorry about that, guys. I couldn't see or hear anything that was happening. I'm excited. I think it's going to be so good. Yes. I think these will be the highest viewed videos on the channel for sure.
Yeah. And I was just saying, I've learned so much about Shelley's life, and the interviews I'm doing kind of gives a cross section of people who knew her at all ages throughout her 58 years in Scientology. So I'm learning a lot, and it's just something we're going to keep talking about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you want to keep going through questions, I'm just going to unstar all the ones that we've already done, because it doesn't look like anybody unstarred any of them.
Yep. Okay, so I'll keep going while you do that. Just let me know when you're ready to take back over.
Perfect.
All right. Somebody Van Halen. AIM Van Halen. Super sticker.
Arnie.
Thank you so much, Arnie. Yeah, my eyes are tired today. Sorry, folks. Patty Parnell, will you do a cooking with Mark and Claire segment for your Yorkshire pudding? That cracks me up. I'd love to, but Mark's not going to be on board with that. So there you have it.
I don't think there's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Denver Steve-O. Osa smells like poo. Hi, Osa. Thanks for being here, Denver Steve-O. We appreciate your presence.
Did you answer this one about, did you answer that one from Kelly?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then also the one with the income tax?
Yes, I did that one. The pittance one, yep. PDD, got my BFG book. Mex Rest at Century City Mall, Beverly Hills yesterday, and couple next to me at bar saw me reading it. They got up and moved to the other side of bar, so I sent them drinks. They were not amused. Oh, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
The best.
That is so hilarious. There was Scientologists at the place.
Yes.
Yeah, we have we've heard stories from other people like that they've been reading the book somewhere in LA or in Clearwater, and people are like, "Oh my goodness."
Yep.
Which is kind of funny that they would even know that book is that book, because you'd have to really get up close to be able to see what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's do this. Panko, thank you for the super sticker. If I do any one that you think I already did, a couple of weeks ago I asked about our tour of gold on Google Maps. Oh yeah, I heard you say that one. Okay, let's just go. I'll go from the bottom then, unless if you want to start again. Dana Eads, great explanation and great trailer. Claire, okay, good, perfect. Yeah, now it looks like we're catching up.
Awesome. And sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. We did not practice beforehand, and there you have it.
Yeah, it was kind of spur of the moment that we were going to show that.
Yes.
Stephen Britton, isn't event attendance mandatory for all members? It is, but they don't really have any way to enforce it. It's hard to make the people that pay. It's hard to. They don't want to upset those people that are putting into the system. So there's a very delicate balance between, hey, you have to come to this, and making you come to it. There's not really any way for them to force you to come, but you can get in trouble if you didn't come. But it's like one of those, it's just like anything in Scientology. You say, hey, why weren't you there? It'd be like, oh, my car broke down that day and I got stuck out of town, or, I missed my flight. And what are they going to do? You missed a flight. That's it. I couldn't come. It's sort of like no teeth for the public. For the people that are members, the Sea Org members have to go. The Sea Org members, they can say, you have to go. And probably 99.9% of those people will be there. But when it comes to the public members, it's a little easier for them not to show up. John says, crackers are just a gateway snack for lickers. It always leads to pretzel licking. I can't argue with you there. I do like to suck the salt off of pretzels, folks. I'm not going to deny that one. Andy Fabulous, doesn't COS have to report annual income and how spent to IRS maintain profit status? No. Now, this is a crazy thing. I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but when Scientology got tax exemption, I think there was sort of like a break-in period for the first, let's say 10 years or 5 years, where the IRS, the Scientology would have to hire an outside accountancy firm to come in and double check whatever Scientology was reporting. And they would give them inventories and asset lists and all this stuff. And then this firm would come in and they'd walk through all the different Scientology properties and they'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. This makes sense. And after a certain period of years, the IRS said, okay, Scientology, you can now police yourselves. So you've verified by paying an outside accountant firm that your things are correct. Now you're on your own and you can just check yourself, make sure you're doing it the way you said you would do it. That's how it is set up right now. Mike Rinder can correct that if that's wrong. Next time we're on, I'll ask him. But I'm pretty sure that's the current system they have with the IRS, is they self-police themselves. Scientology says, oh yeah, we would never do anything wrong. We would never misreport anything. Which is ridiculous. Brett Grace, not surprised production companies want to get on the SPTV action, but think you guys are smart to keep the series in-house. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think you're right, Brett. A really good TV show, like not a hit TV show, but just an okay TV show, can get anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million viewers an episode. Right now on our channel, we're getting about anywhere from 400,000 to 500,000 views a month right now. We just started. And that's just my channel. That's just our channel, Blown for Good. I want to say Aaron's probably got a few million views a week over on maybe 1 million or more on his channel. And then Mike's channel and Amy's channel and all these other people that are starting. So I think a TV show is sort of just an older way of doing it that I don't think is as successful or as immediate. And I think people like the spontaneity of this as well. We don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen on these things exactly. Pokey SD, including us. Yeah, we were going to show a video. Maybe we won't. Maybe I'll show it. Maybe I'll jump off the video. Maybe Claire will show it. Maybe I'll pause it while I can't watch it. Pokey SD says, for a Starbucks for Claire in LA. Thanks for you two and all the SPTV for what you do. I'm glad you are still frustrating DM and COS after all this time, living rent-free in their craniums. Yeah, thank you, Pokey. A lot of people aren't going to get that Pokey joke, but I'm a big fan of Pokey, just so everybody knows. And I call people Pokey all the time when they start dragging it. So thank you for that, Pokey.
I didn't even know that context. I was like, Pokey?
Yeah, Pokey is from, that's Gumby's sidekick.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a horse. He's a clay horse. Melissa, saltines are #1 for licking, just an FYI. That's not, I appreciate that, Melissa, but have you licked all of them? We're going to lick them all. And we're going to find out which is the most lickable. And I think we're going to, what do we say? It's going to be judged in licks, like how many licks.
So now here's my question for you. I've been thinking about this, been giving a lot of thought to cracker licking and this whole supposed scientific test that you would like to do.
Yeah.
My question is this. If you allegedly licked crackers and then put them back in the packet, then surely a scientific test would have to include, does the cracker retain its form? Because if it's a soggy mess that's stuck together, no one's going to eat that cracker after the fact.
Well, also, there's so many holes in this story, but the first hole is that if you've got a cracker, why wouldn't you eat it? We didn't have a lot of food there. So
I know. And did they even actually sell crackers in the canteen?
I don't think so.
Like, what was the source of these alleged crackers?
That's the other thing. We didn't have a source of crackers. And if we did have a source of crackers, I wouldn't spend money on crackers. I'd spend my money on a soda, or I'd spend my money on a, no, I wasn't a coffee drinker.
I was.
In the
I
Sea
would
Org.
spend my money on coffee.
But I did smoke cigarettes. I did smoke Camel non-filters. So, and that is a pack or two of those. That's you're done. You don't have leftover money. So I just don't understand the having crackers was a rarity. And then if I had crackers, I would just eat them. I wouldn't just eat the salt. I'd eat the whole thing if I had some. And also, I don't think we were allowed to have food in our office spaces.
Right.
So would I have just had some food and then I didn't eat it and I left it in my, it's just a weird thing. I really do think, I think I was talking with, when we had Amy on, and she knew that Stephanie gal and how gullible she was and how just like clueless she was about a lot of things. And I do genuinely think it was one of those, oh, how'd you like those crackers? Yeah, I licked them all. And then she was like, oh my God. And was like, no, I was joking. Of course I was joking. Why would I lick the crackers? That's ridiculous. So I think it was one of those things. She just, to this day, didn't get that it was a joke and assumed that I'd actually licked them. And the fact that she remembered that and then told somebody that, and they said, that'll be a great video. That's the part to me that's just ridiculous. It's like,
and look how radically that backfired on them. I mean, look at your logo. That's a brilliant logo.
That's true. Oh, we're selling mugs. We're going to do cracker licking. We're going to get crackers. We're going to say today's Crackers Club, the buttered edition. We're going to lick it.
We can do a fundraiser for the Aftermath Foundation, like a cracker licking contest. Who can lick the most
send in your crackers. Vote for your favorite cracker. Oh, daughter was Gumby for 3 months at 2 years old. Named me Pokey. Yeah, absolutely. There you go, Pokey. I appreciate it. I really, really am a big Pokey fan. I'm not joking about this. This is real life here. I've been very fond of Pokey since I saw him many, many years ago. Michelle R., I love the relaxed conversational nature of the SPTV videos. Feels like I'm hanging with some friends. That's right. It's educational. You might learn something. You might not. I mean, we found all about Pokey over here. But yeah, you know what? We're trying. That is the other thing. have been criticized. I have seen in the comments here and there that we kind of joke around and we're a little bit jovial about some of the stuff when it's pretty horrible. But you can't always just be doom and gloom. You gotta pepper it with a little bit of humor and a little bit of levity. Otherwise, we'd just be crying at the end of every episode. And we have done those episodes too for some of these TV shows. We did an episode, Claire and I did it, was it Nightline, right?
Yeah, but they were in our
ABC.
house. Yeah.
ABC Nightline. We did an interview. We had a camera crew at our house, and it was both of us on camera at the same time, sitting next to each other. And I can't remember what subject we got on, but
we were talking about.
I was trying not to talk about it so that we wouldn't cry. That was my way of getting out of crying in this episode here.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Anyway, we were talking about something, and by the time we were done talking, we were both crying, and the entire film crew were crying. Every single person. The sound guy was crying. The camera person was crying. The interviewer was crying. Every single person in the room was crying. And at the end of it, I was like... And it was in a response to Scientology saying that we had made something up, or this was all just nonsense and they're just disgruntled apostates or whatever it was. And I was like, oh, you don't think this is real? Like, and I think I might have even said, the people filming this are crying. Okay, folks? Okay? People watching at home. Yeah. And these guys were like, this is going to be the best episode that's ever aired on ABC Nightline. Guess what? It never aired. It might still be the best episode if it aired, but it never did because some executive at ABC somewhere, Scientology got to, and he said, we're not airing this. Yeah. So anyway.
I remember that moment like it was yesterday because you were talking. I started crying. You didn't know I was crying because we were sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
But then you saw everyone in the room start crying.
I was like,
you
what's going on?
And you looked at me and started crying. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, folks. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. I will say that. I do remember it. And I was going off and I was saying something. And then I saw them start crying. And I looked over at you and you were crying. And it's exactly, I was like, oh, Jesus, now I got to cry. Okay. Dana, again, firecrackers are saltines soaked in oil or butter and spices. They remain crispy for weeks.
Wow.
See, I'm telling you, we might have to go down this rabbit hole. These cracker lickers. It's going to happen.
Going to have cracker episodes.
Gumby was a little creepy as a kid. Yeah, that's why I like Pokey. That's what I'm saying. Pokey was the less creepy of the two. Okay, let's get back to these starred questions here. What is the general reaction of public Scientologists to the information presented in History of Man? It seems that book would alert people.
I answered this one, honey.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yep. Let me read the whole thing then. You got John Oliver. You got that one.
Yep.
Okay. Tarkina, you read this one, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Well, Arnie, super sticker. Thank you, Arnie, for the super sticker. The cooking one, we're not doing. Mary Kahn. Thank you, Mary Kahn.
Oh,
you didn't have to
Mary.
do that. That Mary Kahn was also on an episode of The Aftermath. I don't think it'd be a bad idea just to go through and re-interview the people that were on The Aftermath, and you could ask them, what are some of the things that you did talk about that didn't make the show? That would be a great.
Well, Aaron did that exactly.
Oh, he did.
But a different theme surrounding that would be a great idea. Yeah.
Sure. He did one with Mary though, like that.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
He did one with me like that, and I think he did one with you like that, and a bunch of people. But I'm sure you're right. That was such an amazing series. I'm sure there's a different theme we could come up with that would make a lot of sense to hear from people that were featured in the Aftermath series.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you guys still need a pet sitter? My sister. Now we're getting pet sitter recommendations. Thank you. Anne Hummingbird. yeah, I think we're pretty taken care of in that department so far. And also, I'm trying to get home before Claire has to take off. I studied the LDS for a friend who asked why it was considered a cult. Spent years in amongst life. I find it interesting what people believe. I believe Scientology is much worse. I feel so sad for them. Yeah, that's also another kind of area. There are a lot of other groups where they have like fundamentalists or radical versions of that group. And some of the general members of that group might just be like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't experienced anything. That's very similar in Scientology. There's a lot of Scientologists, like I've done a few courses like that, the Katie gal that got in because of Tom Cruise. She's done a few courses. She lives in the middle of nowhere. She's only experienced the outer, like very, very introductory things in Scientology. So she doesn't know about the Sea Org. She doesn't know about the abuse going on in there. She doesn't know about any of that stuff. So for her, this is all like, what are you talking about? And even the Xenu and the space alien things, almost, I'd say 80% of Scientologists have never heard of Xenu. They don't know about any of the alien body thetans and all that. And a funny thing is even Scientologists that do know about some things in Scientology, but they don't know about the Xenu. When you say, oh, there are these things called body thetans, they think you're misunderstanding that there's this thing that's called thetans in Scientology. Because L. Ron Hubbard talks about thetans. He talks about that full time, but he never talks about body thetans until you get onto these upper levels. So some Sea Org members or even Scientologists watching this and they hear us talking about body thetans, they're like, they're talking about something that sounds right, but it's weird that they're saying body thetans because that's not a thing. Well, if you did OT3 and up, then you'd find out about the body thetans. So when I first saw the South Park episode, I thought, why are they calling them body thetans? They're just called thetans. And then, of course, Claire's like, nah, they're called body thetans. Because she had already done all that stuff. So, yeah, most Scientologists just don't know about these things. Great explanation and great trailer, Claire. Thank you. That's another one from Dana. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana.
Do Sea Org members collect any public benefits? I think if you get in an accident or something, they'll claim workman's comp. They
right,
do
but
claim that.
That's not a public benefit. Yeah, my when I broke my leg.
What do you call that?
Workers' comp. That's an insurance that Scientology pays for. Public benefits, by my understanding, is more like, unemployment, subsidization from the government. And when I was actually when I was in the cadet org in the UK, my mom at one point, I remember we went and applied for a public benefit, and she was collecting it for a while, which was amazing to me because for the first time we had more money than just what would pay for her cigarettes at the time. But then it was canceled and she was no longer allowed to collect it because it was creating bad public relations for that Sea Org members were collecting money from the UK government.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something that's very interesting that we found out more recently. And I think Jeff Augustine, he has a website and a YouTube channel called the Scientology Money Project. And Scientology just recently collected millions and millions and millions of dollars in relief money due to when the shutdowns happened. And so they're collecting money as if they're paying employees. So they're saying, we have this many people and this is how many people we employ. So we need the money to be able to pay those people, even though they're not paying those people minimum wage. They're not paying those people a salary. They're paying those people $45 or $50 a week, take out taxes. And they collected millions and millions of dollars for those people. And I'm going to venture out and guess that those Sea Org members didn't get paid that money that Scientology collected in order to pay for those people, which is what the money was for. So I suspect that single thing that they did will come back to haunt them soon or in the future, we'll say. Because the government, if you steal from the government, they usually want to find out find out why you did that and maybe get some of that back. Mark, bought your book and Mike's book. Work 2 jobs, no free time, but I can't wait to read on vacation. Keep up the good fight. Claire, you are awesome. That's me, Gigi. Thank you. That's me, Gigi.
Thank you.
Yeah, Claire is pretty awesome. We agree on that.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Are you going to be talking about Shelley's mother in the series? Like what happened to her?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be covered. And we actually, for those that are new listening to the channel, Shelley's sister used to live with us when we first escaped Scientology. And Shelley's father used to work for me after we first escaped Scientology.
Yes, he was such an amazing man. Oh my goodness. And actually for a while, I'm sure you remember this, honey, he was like a grandpa to our oldest son. Our oldest son was one and a half at the time. And Barney would come and hang out with us all the time. He had Thanksgiving dinner with us. He would just sit out on the porch and talk to us, because I think it was sad to me that he was such an amazing person, and yet he had no one that he could just openly talk to. And it was very clear to me personally that the only reason he was still in Scientology was because of his daughters.
Yeah. And he told us all kinds of things that, crazily enough, we kind of were just like, yeah, we had just assumed everybody knew all these things. Yeah. And then when we started kind of thinking about doing this series and we started talking about some of these things we knew, people were like, what are you talking about? No one's ever heard any of this before. I was like, oh yeah, we were told that by Shelley's dad. And he wasn't really allowed to tell anybody these things because they were all in Scientology. And the reason he could tell us is because we weren't. So he told us all kinds of things that not a lot of people know. And we were able to verify a good amount of those things and get pictures and all sorts of things. So we actually have some pretty exciting new information on Shelley that no one has ever heard before, no one has ever known before. And some of these things are crazy, like things that happened to her when she was a young child that no one's ever heard of. And things that happened with Barney, her dad, where he had to go and actually rescue her from Scientology things. So there's a lot of craziness that happened before she was even 15 years old, when she was just given to L. Ron Hubbard. I think she was 12 or something. Anyway, it's crazy. You'll subscribe. And when we come out with this new series, you're going to do it. And I think I'm even thinking about, we have people that subscribe to Blown for Good on Twitter. And I'm debating whether or not we should set up a subscription thing on YouTube to be able to watch these things ahead of time. We'll see. I'm trying to keep it kind of even so people don't miss out. But we'll see. YouTube and Twitter are pushing us to do subscribers. So on Twitter, subscriptions cost. On YouTube, it's free. So you don't have to do that. But you can do memberships on YouTube, which is another thing on top of a subscription. But for now, if you subscribe, you'll find out, and we'll show you the videos. We might do other things as well. Dastardly Saboteur. Do Sea Org members collect any public benefits? That's the one we just showed. Yep. And they also do workman's comp, and they do Social Security. That was the other thing I was going to say. When they get older and they can't work, Scientology encourages them to collect Social Security so that then they can get credit cards set up in that person's name, and then they can get $20,000 or $30,000, and then they make the person's Social Security just pay for the credit card interest until that person passes away. And then Scientology gets to keep the bulk of the money. The person passes away, so the credit card debt is forgiven, and in the end, Scientology gets all the money.
Yeah, somebody also clarified, like, other public benefits, obviously food stamps, welfare, etc. Yeah. Food stamps, I mean, food is provided by the Sea Org for Sea Org members.
But you could get an EBT. As a Sea Org member, you could easily qualify for food stamps and get subsidized like that way. I don't know why no one's thought of that. Probably because Scientology's like, you can't do that. We're giving you money.
Well, also too, then they'd have to leave to get food. They shut that down a long time ago.
Yeah. Pioneer 863, enjoying the book. So you went from pancake quality control officer to cracker licker. You should be very proud. Yeah, it's like I've just got a carb career going here. There's no, I've got to get onto a protein job. I went from pancakes to crackers. I grew up in a cult, so I don't know about all the food groups and all that stuff, but I think those are both carbs, pancakes and
still
crackers.
The funniest conversation ever was with my mom when she was like, so what's your post? And you're like, pancake quality control. And she's like, wow, so you check the quality of pancakes? She was so clueless. She had no idea.
In the Sea Org at Golden Era Productions, we produced cassettes. And when you make cassettes, you do them... You make 30 at a time, and they're on one big giant reel of cassette tape that's about 12 inches. It's like a size of a record. And then that cassette tape gets cut up and put reeled into cassettes. And so you can have a pancake of 30 cassettes. And so it's called a pancake. That's what TDK, the manufacturer of the tape, calls them, pancakes. And I was the one who checked the pancakes. So my literal post title was pancake quality control. That was my job, was pancake quality control. And the pancake jokes never ended. When I was in the Sea Org, people would be like, oh, pancake boy's here. You know, like, hey, how the pancakes looking there, big guy? Need to watch EO3, episode 3, season 8 of Boston Legal, episode on Scientology, better than South Park. Yes, I want to say that is James Spader in that episode. It is a very good episode. Boston Legal, episode 3, season 8. I have seen it, and it is pretty good. I think they talk about a lot of inside baseball Scientology stuff in there. Did you do something awesome for Goldie wedding? We did. That's between us and Goldie. If Goldie wants to talk about it, she can talk about it. But we did do something cool for her, right, Claire?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. Okay, good. Just making sure. Australia has a lot of great crackers. Oh, I'm sure they do. I plan to lick all of them. Anhata PTS. The sheer number of people who self-deleted because of the torture at Imp Base is reason enough to never shut about COS abuse. Yes, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of crazy things that happened there, and those people should not be forgotten. I really do think it's a disservice for the people that we left behind. Now, granted, some of those people are assholes, and I'm not so worried about them, but most of them are not. So we want to help as many people as we can help, and the people that don't want to be helped, we're not worried about them. They don't want to be helped. So, it's all good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We did catch up on all the questions as far as I can tell. I don't think we've got any more in here. If you see any more that you'd like to star that we can answer, we can go for a few more minutes.
Oh, but, Apostate Alex is here. Hey, Apostate Alex.
Oh, there you go. There are, when we were at the Int base, I think the most amount of people that were there, about 1,000. And I think when we left in 2005, I want to say it was about 500 maybe.
Yeah, maybe
total.
Even less by then.
Between there's a lot of different organizations at the Int base, different Scientology organizations that have different organizational structures and executives and all these different things. But I want to say there was maybe 500, probably at the most, there was 500 people there. And then even since we left, we've heard of a lot of other people that have left. So even if there was 300 people there that are left, I would say probably about 250 of those people are decent folks that if they knew they could go somewhere, they'd probably go. And then there's probably 50 people that are just loyal to Miscavige. No matter what happens, they're like ride or die with him. And even some of those people we've heard, they were thinking about leaving, or they tried to escape and then they got caught and then they weren't able to leave. So
yeah,
even
and honestly, when we left, like, I thought Mike Rinder was one of those people, and he was not. So you never know.
Even when Mike Rinder left, I was like, we better watch out for this dude. He could be a double agent. He's done double agent stuff before. He could be a double agent. I told people, just because it's Mike, let's not. Let's just watch him for a little while. Let's see what happens here. Tread very carefully. And it turned out he was legit. But yeah, even people coming out of there now, we still gotta keep an eye on we'll help him, but we ain't gonna tell him anything. Because we tell you guys a lot, but we don't tell you everything. We gotta keep some stuff that's going on. We gotta keep quiet until things happen. Oh yeah, here's somebody. Wouldn't that be so funny? Oh no says hate pancakes. Yeah, that is a good point. I just also happened to like pancakes. I can't eat them now these days. I'm a big fatso if I eat too many pancakes. But I did like some pancakes. So being the pancake quality control was not the worst job in the world. But if we did did we ever even have pancakes there? That was very rare to have pancakes, right?
Yeah,
it'd have to be a special occasion.
Yeah, I mean, so rarely did we even ever actually eat breakfast because we were so tired and sleeping in those.
That's right.
Chairs.
The comfy chairs.
If they did serve pancakes, I missed them completely.
I do remember there was 1 or 2 times when I was eating pancakes and I'd be like, yeah, these are pretty good.
Oh, you know what? Didn't they used to do it for Sunday brunch sometimes when we would come in?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Sometimes we would have them, and when we'd eat them, I'd be like, yeah, these are okay. These passed the test. And people would be like, very funny. Very funny, Mark. Pancake quality control. Hilarious. As Claire would say, hilarious. Hilarious. Okay, folks, I think we did it. I think we got through this thing. As we do, this is when sometimes people bail out, but all copies of Blown for Good, purchased through blownforgood.com, are signed by Claire and myself. If you'd like a copy, you can get them there at blownforgood.com. If you don't care about that and you just want one, you can get them on Amazon or Kindle or wherever books are sold. You can get the digital or the audio copy. If you want to support the Aftermath Foundation and you want a nice little fun little thing, you can get a bobblehead or an SP bracelet. The SP bracelets are stainless steel. They come in all sizes. There's a sizing chart on the spshop.com where you can get the Mike Render bobbleheads or the SP bracelets, and all proceeds of those go to the Aftermath Foundation. If you don't need a trinket or you don't need any of that silliness, you can just go, and you want to donate to the Aftermath Foundation, you can just go to the aftermathfoundation.org, and there is a donate button. And if you don't want to donate, you can also volunteer there. There's all sorts of things that we need help with people when we're helping them escape. And one of those things could be driving somebody to the airport, or a place for someone to stay, or some winter clothes for a female that's about this age or that age, or a male or whatever. It could be anything that we could need in any location in the world. Some people say, well, I live in New Zealand, and what could I possibly help? No, we had somebody that we needed to get a laptop in Australia. And we needed somebody to get somebody from Australia back to the States, or from the States to Australia. I can't remember which way it was.
Australia
but we had to do
to the States, get her vehicle, all kinds of crazy stuff.
We needed some people in Australia, and we needed some people in the States. And we were able to do all of that through the volunteers, through the Aftermath Foundation website. So you'd be surprised what we're doing behind the scenes. When we're not making videos, we're doing other stuff. And we're trying to get these people out of there. Don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 20. Oh my God, I got to look before I say that, because we could have already.
No,
I haven't
we
looked
didn't
at the
hit that
subscribers. Yet. Oh, it's 28,270. Yeah, so we're trying to get up to 29,000. We did just hit a crossover 28,000, and Claire gave away a book. Every time we cross over another 1,000 subscribers, Claire picks somebody in the comments to get a book. So if you want a book, a bobblehead, or a bracelet, you got to let us know in the comments. And then when we tick over, Claire just randomly picks one of those people to win one of those things. every time we tick over another 1,000 subscribers. Just a fun way to do that, and also do some giveaways so that not everybody has to do a super chat. Not everybody has to do a super sticker. Some people just show up and get bobbleheads, books, and bracelets when they want them.
Yes. And I will say I love doing these because we always get such amazing input from our audience, like the Aftermath series we just talked about. And it reminded me too that we're going to start doing a series about some of the people that the foundation has helped. That's going to be absolutely awesome.
Yes, we do
There's
have
a lot
some
of very powerful stories to be told.
I was going to say, we do have another story that we've been working on for more, I want to say about a year now, right? We've been working on videoing and filming one of the individuals that we've helped for about a year.
Yeah.
And in his journey from working with us to where he is now. And he is well into this journey, and every step of the way, it has been an amazing, amazing journey. And if you watch, I don't even know that we'll be able to do it in one video. It might be different videos. I don't know how exactly it's going to unfold on the channel. But if you don't cry in at least half these videos, then you are one cold, hard son of a gun, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This is very, very powerful that what happened to this individual, what ended up, how he ended up getting treated by Scientology, and how he went from that to where he is now is the most, it is a miracle. It is a true miracle that he is with us today. And the fact that just where he's got to. So it's pretty powerful. It's amazing. I'm very connected to this one individual in many, many different ways. So for me, it is a little personal. Anyway, it's going to be great. You guys are going to love it. We do have a lot of content that we've been cranking out on here, even though we're not as busy and as prolific as Aaron or Mike necessarily. But we are trying to work on some stuff that's going to be amazing for you guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for all that stayed to the very end. Thank you for everyone who has liked and subscribed and commented on the videos. We're going to try and keep these going as much as we can. And as long as you guys tune in to watch, and as long as we get more people viewing more videos, we're going to keep doing them. Anything else, Claire?
That covers it.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Until next time.
Bye.